welcome back to another episode of the Ark Survival Guide, the 100th episode, in fact. This is a momentous occasion. I honestly didn't know how well we would do when we started this channel, and we actually have a pretty good supporter base now, and a lot of you have given us some pretty cool feedback. So, we are doing a special episode to commemorate 100 episodes on the Ragnarok series, and this episode will actually show you some of the coolest locations for bases on the Ragnarok map. There are so many hidden gems on this map, but we're going to go over some of the really cool ones and actually show you where to find them on the map so that if you want to build bases here, you can. And we are at a place in our journey where we're ready to pick out a final main base that's going to be our main base of operations. We've got a lot of small outposts, but we need to make a big base where our dinosaurs can really spread out, that we're going to be launching most of our expeditions from this point on. So I thought it would be cool to ask for your input because I'm not 100% certain which place I want to build my main base. So if you have any suggestions, please add comments on the videos, and if there's a location that I have not mentioned, please put the coordinates there too so I can check it out. I would love to hear from you. I also have some really important announcements regarding this series and other new series we're going to be starting. So first of all, I'll get into the announcements. You may notice that the quality has drastically improved on this video. We actually finally have a real video capture card and a good laptop, so I'm actually able to make much better quality videos. So hopefully everything will be actually decent quality, and hopefully you will enjoy that. The other big thing is we have the Ark Extinction DLC coming out very soon. I mean, like within about a week. And I want to launch into a serious series for Ark Extinction, and I'm planning on doing kind of a Let's Play guide for that as soon as it comes out, so I really want to be on the forefront of that. And you can watch me learning as I go, which should be pretty entertaining, so that's going to come out pretty soon. Now, I'm not completely ending this series, but we've got a few older videos still that are launching and scheduled out over the next couple weeks, so there will be a few additional Ragnarok videos coming out. But I'm mainly going to focus on Extinction for a while, and then we'll come back and do some more Ragnarok as we get time. But you will still see Ragnarok series videos showing up, pretty frequently for the next few weeks probably. So keep an eye out for those. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on anything. And I'm also starting a Switch beginner guide because Ark is launching on Nintendo Switch really soon, so they have just been so busy. But watch the rest of this episode and we'll show you some cool bases we're thinking about. So keep us posted on what you think. So I have not set up a final base, like a large base. I've got a lot of small outposts all around the map, but it's just about time for us to start building a really big base where all of our dinos and all of our stuff can be. And so I want to get some input from all of the followers who are actually following this channel now. So, please watch the rest of this video and let us know in the comments what your suggestions for our final main base will be. So, first off, I'm just going to highlight a couple cool little spots for anybody who is a beginner on the Ragnarok game. So, if you start on, I think it's Viking 1, you start right around this little beach right here. And it's a reasonably safe area, but there are some cool little plateaus, and any one of these nice flat plateaus is going to be a good spot to build because it'll keep you safe from other dinos and stuff. As long as you can get, a couple stories high on a plateau, most dinosaurs won't bother you. Now, this area here, you don't get a whole lot of predators coming down from the mountains, but as you get further down the bay over here, you will start to see allosaurs, rexes, and argents kind of wandering in this direction. But this little plateau right here is where we actually started our base. And this little tree that leads up to it makes a nice little ramp so you can get up here immediately when you first start the game. And this will be a safe place to park your dinos, build a little base. And in the earlier episodes, this is where we started out. But right behind it is one of the places I've been considering to make a main base. You'll also notice none of my stuff is here. I'm actually playing this on my PC. I finally got a PC that's got really good recording quality, so you'll notice much better resolution here. So check this out. This is a very big open area. If you're into skeletons and stuff, it's got some nice skeletons too. But it's got plenty of room to park a lot of dinosaurs. You can fly in and out from that little opening right there behind the waterfall. If you're doing PvP, it's a large area that is easily defendable because you can put walls right behind the waterfall and then set up some turrets on the right and left-hand sides, and you can make it pretty impossible to raid your base, especially if you build it up here on this plateau, and anybody invading has to swim through the water and have all kinds of trouble getting up here. Now, the water is a pain because it's going to be really hard for your dinosaurs to go through. It just takes a while to swim back and forth. So you can build a walkway through the water, but it's reasonably deep. So, it's kind of a pain getting in and out, and it's a little bit far from resources. You also run the risk of falling into the water on your flyer on your way in and out. But it is a really good fortifiable base, and you can build pretty nicely in there, and it's extremely safe. So that is definitely very high on my list of possibilities, even though I'm not playing PvP, so I'm not worried about that. But so that is definitely one of the first things I'm considering. And the coordinates of this I will put up on the screen so you can see where this is, but it's right here in Viking Bay, which is this big bay down here. It also has tons of good resources right around this area, and you just have to find where the water comes in and the skeleton goes under the waterfall, and that's where that base is. Now this next spot, I have been kind of around this area quite a bit, but even if I don't make this my main base, I am definitely going to build up here soon. And that is the Ragnarok Castle. Check that out. And first of all, we have an amazing view of Viking Bay. I love to live in a place that's got a great view. Just gotta always throw that out there. But it's a very well defensible position. On all sides, there are really high cliffs that you really can't traverse. So anybody who wants to raid you has to come up probably from the coast and head up all the way up all of these mountains, which are just infested with tyrannosaurs and all kinds of crazy stuff. Is that a tech stego? Hold on, I gotta check this out. Hold the phone. That is cool. So we have an event where there are tech dinosaurs running around, and there's an event with red dinos. So we end up with red tech stegos. That is pretty cool. I wish I was on my main file because I would love to tame that thing right now. So this whole area is actually where we tamed our bees, right on this little cliff down here. So there's honey all over the place. There's also all kinds of really dangerous dinos. Looks like we got a Sarco here, and there's a lot of good metal kind of around this area, so there's good resources right on the other side of this drawbridge, but the castle is built over a swamp. If you're a fan of Monty Python, remember that guy is like, I built this castle in the swamp, and then it sank into the swamp. And then I built another castle, and that sank into the swamp. Yeah, that kind of thing. So, but I do really like this castle. I mean, this is a cool spot. Now, you have to repair the bridge if you want to use it, but that's actually a good thing because you can build trapdoors on this bridge, and if anybody raids you, you can just open up the trapdoors and drop them down onto the tyrannosaurs. So that's a really nice thing about this area is you can just, make some nice little trapdoors, and then if anybody raids you, just drop them down onto a T-Rex. Man, my laptop was freaking out. So I think there's an extensive cave system down here from what I hear, which leads out from the back of the castle. So at certain points of the game, my game's going to try to load the entire cavern system, which is just too much to do at the same time while recording. So I'm still working out some kinks. But there's a lot of beehives around here, so there's a lot of honey, available. But this is a great place if you have a flyer, or if you want to just build some ramps coming up from over here. And you can repair the bridge and have a nice trapdoor system to drop people into the swamp if they try to raid you. Now, this castle is full of all kinds of dangerous stuff. Is that a T-Rex in the castle? Come on, man. So there's bats, and oh wow, that's a lot of bats. So I've got a cheat on where I'm invisible to dinosaurs right now, otherwise I would be getting my butt kicked, but that's probably why my computer was stuttering a little bit. It was loading this huge cave system underneath this castle, and loading a ton of bats to fight us. So we're going to have to be really well armed in order to clear out this castle, and we'll have to place foundations all over the castle to keep things from respawning. I gotta admit though, I did not expect a Tyrannosaur inside the castle. That's a little bit much there. But this is pretty cool. I mean, yeah, there we go. That's why it was taking so long. It just had to spawn a crazy amount of bats and spiders and all kinds of dangerous stuff. So only come in here when you're ready for a big fight. I mean, this is intense. But once you've cleared out this castle, there's just a bunch of holes to patch up. But then you have a really cool, nice castle with all kinds of defenses and, just really good stuff. So definitely consider this if you're a PvP tribe, especially a large PvP tribe that can do some serious damage and fight all the stuff in here. So yeah, that's about it for the castle. Once again, I'm not going to go in there right now, probably until I have a good Quetzal, but it is a cool area to live. Now, this next spot, the more I'm doing this video, the more I'm leaning towards this base location. So it's right here, very close to the blue obelisk. And if we come along the coast, I've actually been here many times before. It's not terribly far from Viking Bay, but you'll see this cool little dome made of rock right over here. And as we come along the coast, we've actually sailed right past this multiple times. But you will see this cool little inlet right next to these rocks, and it's got some trees overlapping. Now, I can barely fit my floating fortress through here, but if we head along this river just a little bit further, first of all, there's metal all around this river, so that's a good metal resource. But check this out. If we follow this cave further down, this cave opens up into a massive cavern with lots of flat surfaces right next to the water where we can build our base. Now, there are good-sized dinosaurs that spawn in here, so I would definitely have to build some base defenses inside the cave itself to take care of those. But we're doing pretty well with our, Plant Species X turrets. So, but look how cool this place is. I mean, it is massive in here, and there's plenty of room for dinos, plenty of room for basically everything we could possibly need. We could make a huge base in here. There's even some back chambers that you could hide stuff and put your, if you're on a PvP server, you could put some of your more sensitive stuff like generators and things back here, so it'd be really hard for anybody to get to. It also has a couple of entrances, but yeah, I guess we've got 2 Therizinosaurs running around in here. That's pretty crazy. So we do get some, pretty rough predators, so we'll have to be ready to deal with that when we come in here. But check this out. So there's one entrance that goes off into the jungles, and we could probably walk dinos up this ramp if we needed to, if we needed to get some land dinos in here. And it's really hard to see this entrance with all of the trees there. But the other thing that's really cool is I love this waterfall, this little jungle waterfall that comes down into the base. I always wanted to live in a house with a waterfall in it, and I mean, how cool is that? Now, you would never know this place is here because it's really well hidden from all sides. And we could actually wall off the ceiling here pretty easily, and it looks like we could block the entire top surface. But another thing that I really like having in the base that I did on the center, I actually made an elevator coming out the top of my base, so I had a delivery chute where I could drop dinosaurs down after collecting metal and things like that when I had a Quetzal. So that is extremely helpful. And it's also surrounded by these cool ruins, and once again, pretty dangerous dinosaurs. It'll be important to cover up the roof so they don't have any dangerous dinos wandering in. But this tree right here is where I built my sap tap. So I've got a quick supply of sap, and it's actually a really quick jump to run over from there to Viking Bay. So you may have noticed we've made this trip quite a few times, but that's Viking Bay right there in the distance, and right down this waterfall is where our original base was. So it's got some pretty cool resources right out here. Another interesting thing about building this base is you get some pretty big dinos that spawn up here, which is kind of a problem, but if we wanted to tame one, we could get it to chase us down the waterfall into our base. Like if I wanted to tame that Spino, I could easily just kite the thing right over the waterfall and then just plummet down into our base here. And then you've got them pretty well trapped, which is pretty cool. So I am really leaning towards this base. I also like having a good water supply, but I am almost certain I could get my entire floating fortress to go through this little cave right here and get inside this giant cave. So that's a big plus for me, having this really nice floating fortress base. So that is some really nice things about this area. Now I'm just going to show you up the coast just a little further, because there is a really rich metal area over here, and it's just down the coast, which would be a very quick jaunt over. So if we were wanting to go on a quick metal run, we could just take the raft out and just head up to this little area here. Now this is a nice spot if you're starting Ragnarok. You can actually build on this little plateau, and you would only have to block off this one little section of the plateau, and big dinosaurs wouldn't be able to get up these ramps. So you could make a pretty secure little house right here with just one good sized wall and a dinosaur gateway. This plateau is another nice little spot. You can easily block off the ways to get up here and then have a very big plateau to build on. But the reason I would not build on this area personally is because this section down here has lots of metal right around this area. So look at that, there's quite a few metal nodes down in here, and there's some more along that side. Now pay no attention to the stuff down the beach a little bit. I have been using this as just a fun little place to show people the VR feature that I have working on my PC. I've actually been able to play Ark in virtual reality, which is stinking cool. I will probably make a video for how to play Ark in VR with Steam if you got it for PC for like, $20. It is not expensive at all. So yeah, this area is the area that I'm leaning towards the most as far as building a base, and I am just loving this section. I love the jungle, and I love how there's just a lot of cool possibilities for this section. Now this spot I love. This is up here on the Highlands, right off the coast, which is a pretty darn good location as it is. But as we head a little bit higher up this stream, there is this huge cave right behind this waterfall. Now you can see it from afar because it hasn't loaded in yet, but that waterfall actually does a pretty decent job covering up this entrance. And on my main file, I've actually built a big outpost in here. This whole area is completely flat and absolutely ideal for building and for placing dinosaurs, so it is a really nice spot. And it's also got a indoor swimming pool, which is pretty cool. You've got a limitless supply of water, and there's usually a couple of metal nodes down there, maybe some crystal, and I think there was some obsidian even underneath some of these rocks. So there's some decent materials that spawn here. But once you build a base, you're not really going to get any of that. So it is a really secure base because this is the only entrance, and it's only accessible behind a waterfall, which is really nice. I definitely appreciate being hidden behind a waterfall. And this whole area is just cool. I mean, this is just a nice open space over these huge meadows that are generally full of sheep too, which are very handy. So, you know, you can kind of get an idea of where this is on the coast because there's that big bay, which is actually a nice spot to build a water pen also. It's a pretty big, reasonably safe bay. I know because I chased a unicorn all over that bay and did not get eaten by a shark. But it's got a pretty deep inlet, as you can see, so you can get some pretty decent sized water dinos in there. So this is a pretty darn cool place to build a base. I'm just not totally sure if it's going to be big enough, and also as far as resources, there's some pretty good metal deposits nearby, but there is just nothing as far as trees. If you want to get wood, you've got to go a long way in the Highlands, so that's kind of a downside for this being a main base. Now, this next area is probably not something I would place my main base at, but it is a really cool water-based location. So we are out here right next to the redwood forest on the edge of the Highlands. There's this cool little outcropping with a lighthouse up on top. Now, the lighthouse tower is pretty cool as it is, but check this out. If we go down to the coast, there's all of these basalt pillars and a nice little peninsula all the way around. And there's a pretty deep channel of water going right through here. So you could put a lot of pretty good sized water dinos into this channel. And it goes all the way into this completely enclosed, totally protected cave. So you could basically build a water base in here. There's tons of space down in there for water dinos. And you could block off most of the entrance with a behemoth stone gateway. So this is a pretty cool spot. And you can make yourself really well secured in here. Now, as far as actually building a base, you know, it's flooded with water. There's not a lot of space on these pillars, but check this out. You can actually snap a tree platform onto these little pillars. So it's just like having a treehouse base. So if I place that on this pillar, I've got a really nice little base that I can make the same size as a treehouse platform. And you can put that right down next to the water where you can make some ramps going down into the water. So this is actually a pretty cool location if you look at that. And you can actually do a little bit of building in the tower up top too. There is just a tiny bit of space right at the very top of the tower to build a base. So it wouldn't be able to be a big one, but you can definitely fit like a bed and a nice little outpost up on top of here. And once again, that is an amazing view. I mean, check that out. You really can't beat the view, but there's not much of any trees out here, so it's not a good resource-heavy base to live in, but it is a cool outpost and it's a great spot for storing water dinos. Okay, so I'm going to start this honorable mention way up in the air because this is a cool spot, but it's really hard to find. So we are sitting here kind of right between the desert, and there's like that huge bay over there. You kind of come straight in from there, and you'll see there's the green obelisk out in the distance there. This mountain has a river that kind of flows down this way, which splits off a couple of times, and then you've got these two peaks that kind of come to a point. But here is the cool part of this. So right where the waterfall comes down into this little valley here, you've got an entire little cathedral sitting right here, and this is just a cool spot. So check this out. Look at that. That is just a beautiful place. I've never seen anything dangerous show up here, but you know, you've got all these statues and all this crazy stuff in here. This would be a really cool place for a large clan. You can see right here, looks like they've actually got quite a lot of people that were already living here, somewhere, you know, long in the distance. But check out that fountain. I mean, this is just cool stuff, isn't it? You got all this artwork everywhere, lots of water in the base. It's a nice flat area to build, and You know, not super practical as far as an actual living area, but it is just cool. I mean, look at that. You have to appreciate the beauty of this place. I love the dodo sculptures, and I can't really take them seriously, but it is just a beautiful pre-built building for you. So you'd only have to block off a couple little spots. It's not really practical as far as resources because it's hard to get to a lot of resources from here. But still, it is a cool little area. You should definitely come explore up here, even just as a fun little Easter egg. But definitely check this place out. It is pretty fun. And if you built a base in here, it'd be pretty hard for people to notice you'd actually built something because it's already got so much going on. But, once again, I love places with a great view. And this has got a pretty amazing view off of this sledge here. So, I mean, this is a very nice vacation spot if you want to build kind of up close to, where the desert starts and all of that stuff. I'm probably not going to go into the desert very much. And I probably won't be down on this side of the map very often. But this is just a cool place. So it definitely deserves mentioning as a nice little bonus. Now this next spot is just an honorable mention because, kind of a bonus for you, because I'm not really into this kind of style, but right at the bottom of this volcano are these two lava waterfalls, and if you fly right between them, you can barely see this tiny little cave here. I'm going to fly kind of slowly through here because there are dripping streams of lava everywhere. And if you're into liquid hot magma, this is a very cool base location. Now it's full of crystal, so if you need crystal in Ragnarok and you don't mind possibly burning to death pretty quickly, this is a great place to pop in and get a ton of crystal from. But, it'd be pretty cool PvP base if you're into this type of style. And you've always got some decent, cool mood lighting, so, that's definitely something to consider, especially if you have ways of pushing anyone who intrudes into these streams of burning lava. So let me show you where it is. It's just out here, and once again, I'll put up the coordinates on the map when I edit this video. But it's right here on this volcanic coast. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. And you can actually see it from the coast. It's kind of the last big lava section there. Well, thanks for watching this video. We've gone through some pretty decent options for building a base and found some nice vacation homes that we could build in later on too. So please let us know your feedback and what your suggestions are as far as which base we should choose as we go forward in the Ragnarok series. Now it may be a little while before we continue this series just because Extinction is coming up so soon and I do want to give it the attention it deserves. It looks like it's going to be an amazing expansion, and I definitely want to bring everybody a really good Extinction guide since a lot of people have been talking about it. But, until then, feel free to give us your comments and feedback on this video and let us know some other good suggestions for bases, because I'm sure some of you know some amazing spots that we could build in. And, there's a lot of good stuff out here. But keep an eye out for more Ragnarok videos, because even after the Extinction expansion comes out, we will still have videos scheduled out that will keep popping up on the channel. So please like and subscribe, and it will notify you when those come out. I hope this helped you, and please let us know if it did. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching this video from the Ark Survival Guide. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you more great guides like this one. Ark is an amazing game, but there is so much to learn before you can really enjoy it. We are dedicated to bringing you high-quality guides, tutorials, and Let's Play videos that are fun, helpful, clean, and suitable for the entire family. There's a tutorial in this series series for everything we have done so far in this video. Check out these playlists for more episodes from this series and other guides to help you enjoy your journey on Ark.